My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and the name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey. I'm married to Childers. And I've just put up a video, and it's 15 minutes, so I don't have time to give much background. And if you just pick it up, then you don't know where I'm coming from. I didn't lay out Hustler magazine. Larry Flint was shot in all this in 78. I was doing a medical malpractice book on mind control murders. And one of those is O.J. Simpson. And I could go on and list the Tucson, Arizona, the Aurora, Colorado, and there's a whole bunch of them that murder was done using mind control that's a one-on-one. And I'll quote someone who worked for the district attorney. I worked for Fred Simpson in 1980. And this private detective that had also worked there in the DA's office told me that he had a client. This is just typical, though. He had a client that called him up on the phone, and her husband, she wanted a divorce, and I don't know, I don't want to say something I don't remember, so I don't remember the circumstances. Anyway, his point was, he said, I know what you're talking about. He said she took a gun to her head and killed herself right after the phone call. And so he's talking about mind control, and so many people know it. All you have to do now is Google it. Back then, I had to research, and I had lists and names, and I had a friend of mine that was FBI and undercover, if you want to say that, undercover FBI working for the news media. Well, they wouldn't print what he had either. And we had lists of, like at Redstone Arsenal, and some of it involves movie stars like Robin Williams. Of course, this is later, but Natalie Wood was one. So now I want to get back to the tape went off before I've used up. I got to get a new memory card, etc. too. But Obama was just on TV this morning, and he was talking about the social media. And forgive me if I didn't grasp every word of it, and it upsets me because the only outlet I've had is the social media, putting it up on Facebook, YouTube, and Google Plus. And it would seem it's done me no good. In fact, some of the people have used it against me and gone after me rather than help me, hurt me here. So anyway, what I put up was about my kidnapping, and you can't dismiss it as a lie. All you have to do is go to the timeline of what I've laid out, who my father is, who he married, my being born and kidnapped and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given another name. I could not have gotten this up if it had not been for the social media, whether it works out pro or con for me. The mainstream media has a blackout on me. Always have, I understand now, because the very people kidnapped me, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, the Kennedys, control the media. And the global government, the Illuminati that kidnapped me, and my own uncle, some of my own family in Great Britain helped kidnap me. Churchill, oh yeah, he's not the hero he's made out to be. So now then I want to say this in defense of the social media, and that means Facebook. That was the only outlet I've had. And Obama was saying something about flags that, excuse me if I don't get it exactly right, because I have been through hell, and yes, the United States kidnaps. Yes, they accept ransom money. They say they don't pay it. They sure accepted it. I hope and pray before I die, this is laid out before the whole world, and you see how the Americans have reacted to me when I have proof positive, when there's no doubt in their mind. And if it hadn't been for social media, I would have gotten none of this out, for whatever good it does me. So please don't take social media away. And number one is Facebook and YouTube. That's all you have. Now then, yeah, my flag's the British flag. I have not lied about any of it. I know there's some other things I want to say, because Obama was very critical of the social media. The truth is told more on the social media than it. You tell me, you don't think it's important that your best friend, as the United States calls them, the British, are over there living in hell. My country's been taken over, and Australia's in the throes of it with illegal immigrants. Okay, you go back to what was done to us, the installing of their own monarch, George VI, taking out my father, kidnapping me, and I am the legal heir the day I was born. All this done, and you don't find this newsworthy. And then I wrote a book. That's when Larry Flint was shot in 78, and it was unpublished because they put antifreeze in me. There are lists of crimes committed against me personally and my children. Nothing has been printed. The media won't touch it, and no one has prosecuted anyone. So when Obama talks about he inferred the social media, you couldn't trust it, and a lot of lies and flags were put up on it, and it just upsets me because here was the question I was going to make. You walk in my shoes for 1 second, people, especially you in the United States, you great citizens who have ignored me, and I hope to God there's films of what you all have done to an innocent human being who's guilty of loving people and telling the truth. Well, look at Julian Assange. He got framed. He's an honest, decent man, and look at his life for telling the truth. And is he appreciated? By a lot of people, but a lot of people hate my guts and they dislike him for just that, telling the truth. Kill the messenger. So they sit up here. You don't think this is newsworthy, what happened to me, the kidnapping, the torture? By the way, some of it happened to your own people, was done to them using the mind control. And there's a list of them, but you won't see them because it can't be printed unless I am able to go before, not the war tribunal, is controlled by the people that kidnapped me. Before, I don't know, British Parliament would be a start, or put me up before, who? Who can you trust? Haul me in before the, I'll tell you this and then I'm going to leave, and you can call what you want to. Maybe I'll make it. I certainly hope so, and my children make it. Back in 82, when I had a letter from the U.S. Attorney, an ongoing investigation, national security involved, and I had a letter from the U.S. Attorney, and I had where I'd done the book. Had gone before Reveal, the board. They didn't take it, but it had gone before, so I had proof of all this. I'm walking with no money. And this is after the antifreeze was put in me on April Fool Day of 80. And I should have died. That was a miracle I didn't die. You talk about a living hell. My life has been, but that was really another something you can't even take. And by the way, Cobb County, where Mary and I lived, later there was 2 people associated with law enforcement there that their wives actually fed them antifreeze and they died. Okay, now, if I can get back to where I was here. Anyway, the social media is a blackout on me, telling about my kidnapping, the taking down of my country, and the mind control murders that have been done. The lists of them. The mass like Columbine, Tucson, Arizona, Aurora, Colorado, James Holmes. He's not mentally ill. They're torturing that man. It's mind control. And I'm going to list another one here, and I'm sure Jesse Matthews probably could care less about me, like most of these people here in this country that hate the messenger, me. It's what their country's doing that's criminal. A lot of these people that have been under mind control, and like, Terry Nichols. Okay, it's Terry that's still in jail for the Oklahoma City bombing. And don't tell me that oh, for goodness sakes, who was put to Timothy McVeigh, said he had a chip put up his buttocks by the military. He was programmed in the Oklahoma City bombing. By the way, there's something else to do, because a lot of these murders were deliberately done in codes, patterns, and can be proven. They can. The man named Winchester that was he the one that was killed at the airport? Oh yeah, it's the name of the airport too that's part of the patterns. And the Winchester, this was a shooter went in at the airport, and Mr. Winchester, I believe he played football, was shot. And that's one of the patterns you can. It's messaging. Okay, it's like instant messaging, because it involves the timeline, the name of the person or names, etc., like the Virginia Tech.